All right, so I've seen this going around a little bit on the internet recently, and I kind of wanted to address it. It's essentially this mysterious missing recording from the original Last of Us game that multiple players remember there being a recording at the end of the game when you're Joel playing through the St. Mary's Hospital piece to go and save Ellie, that there was a little recording tape that you could find, because you could find various ones of them throughout the game, but there was one in particular you could find toward the end of the game that was from Abby's dad, who was the surgeon, who we now know is Abby's dad, talking about the cure. And a lot of people remember finding this recording and hearing Abby's dad discuss how there was multiple patients that they had already tried to get a cure from, who were immune, and it was unsuccessful, and that he was hoping that Ellie would be the one where it would be successful, blah, 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 and it dove further into that. And then the rumor is that there was an update when Naughty Dog wanted to make Joel's decision at the end of the game more morally ambiguous, that Naughty Dog then removed that recording so that players could no longer find it, so that it made the ending more ambiguous, and whether or not Joel was in the right or the wrong, that it would leave you with less certainty in that. Because if you heard the recording of the surgeon saying, hey, we had multiple patients who were immune and we tried to get cures from them and it didn't work, that it would make Joel have a pretty clear black and white, this is the right decision to make, even though I think it's the right decision to make in general. I don't know if Joel needed to kill everybody in order to make it, but I think him being like, hey, we're not going to kill a little girl for a chance, and we didn't even get her consent to do so. But Joel would have probably not gone along with it, even with the consent, let's be honest. So that aside, that's the rumor, and lots of people have been kind of bringing this up recently, and I wanted to address it. And even there's a Reddit page that kind of talks about this, that I'll leave a link to, where someone essentially says, and I quote, that they came across many different people remembering that there was a second surgeon's recording found somewhere in the hospital section. One mentioned that it was a support surgeon, female, with a different opinion of the whole surgery situation. It was supposedly mentioning previous attempts of making a cure, 11 to 12 patients that were immune, just like Ellie. The recording was supposedly removed in an early patch to make Joel's decision a moral dilemma. I'm looking for any information on the recording, whether there's a transcript, location, some other kind of details, blah, blah, blah. And essentially, this recording is one of the instances of a Mandela effect. And if you don't know what that is, it's essentially this phenomenon where people remember things incorrectly. One of the most famous ones is that when you picture the Monopoly man in your head, many of us will picture him with a monocle, but he has never had a monocle, ever. And so that's a Mandela effect. And this is one of those Mandela effects, and tons of people remember seeing this recording, but it's nowhere to be found, that it's not actually real, was never actually real. And the best way to figure that out is to go and play an original PS3 copy of The Last of Us, don't update it, and you'll never find this recording, that it's not a real thing. And I think it's got multiple things happening, where I actually think that there is an actual surgeon's recording, that's Abby's dad talking about it, and then there's a paper you can find that dives into them trying to figure out the cure and talking about them having test subjects for a cure, and that they had a bunch of test subjects that failed. But those test subjects weren't people they were getting the cure from, it was patients that they were trying to test the infection on. And so I think those two things kind of overlapped in people's brains to make them think that there's this forgotten recording from the head surgeon or from an opposing surgeon that was like, hey, what's happening here is wrong and I don't agree with it, but we're going to go through it anyways. And so it's kind of a weird, funny thing, but I just kind of wanted to cover it because lots of people seemingly remember this recording, but it's not real, which is really interesting and I just think kind of cool and funny. But let me know if I'm wrong. So if you've got proof that there was an actual recording and that I'm wrong in this, head down to the comment section down below. leave a link or send us a video or a transcript of whatever. But even I personally, when I heard these stories, I was like, yeah, I do think I remember there being something like that. And then it turned out to be wrong. And so let me know too if this was a Mandela effect for you, or were you someone who remembered that recording and thought it was real, but are now like, oh dang, that thing doesn't actually exist. It's so weird, because our memories are just really bizarre. Let me know in the comment section down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that junk, and I will see you guys in the next one.